school. I'm home.
Yeah. So did you feel when you went from homeschooling to high school that there was more forceful teaching, or did you feel? I know you told me you felt like you had something to prove as like a homeschool.
Well, yeah.
kid.
I mean, there's homeschooling is obviously done differently in every household, but I mean, there's the homeschoolers who have a schedule, and then there's the homeschoolers. It's like, oh, I homeschool, right? And you go, okay, you homeschool, okay. Right.
Is that like taking an online course at your own pace?
No, I mean, some people know how to teach, and some people say, "Oh, I'm teaching," and then there's how much teaching do you think is actually going on, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
There's two sides of the coin. So my mom was a geologist. She's a librarian now, but she's a very smart woman. So she decided, she took it upon herself. She's like, I'm going to teach my kids, and so she homeschooled us. But it wasn't that lax kind of schedule. It was like you had a schedule. You woke up, you looked at your things you had to do, and then you did them. Right. And you got into shit if you didn't.
What kind of shit did you get?
You just,
Did you get spanked?
I did get spanked when I was younger. Not by my mom.
Yeah.
It was just always the threat of, your dad will hear about it, kind of.
Oh, it's always the threat of the dad, eh?
The threat of the dad.
Oh, I'm telling your father you go. So.
Yeah.
Well, knowing what you do now about school, I mean, obviously you're enjoying it more because you're interested in it.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider homeschooling?
I don't
Casey
so.
or
I don't think I would.
No, I don't either.
No.
I don't know. Obviously
it's we live busy lives, right? Yeah. So I mean, obviously it's there for a reason. We're not bashing the education system.
And at the end of the day,
it's always nice to get a different opinion.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think the reason my mom did it was because she thought she could teach better, right? Yeah. Which fair enough. I mean, it's a lot easier to teach someone one-on-one. Like, you learn a lot more versus whether you're in a classroom with 20 or 30 other students, right?
I agree.
So, I mean, you do get that advantage, but I feel like it's much more important to be on the same social level, and the same intellectual level. Like, I can know, I was tested at, grade 12 when I went to grade 9, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Does that mean you were...
I had to go into the Ontario school system, I had to be tested, right? They have to be like, okay, well, you were homeschooled. Like, what do you actually know? So you go in for a standardized test.
So what you knew was the equivalent of what a grade 12
was?
Yeah,
so I came out how to, because, they'll, I forget, it was a long time ago, but to the best of my recollection, they bring in one exam, and then you do that, and then they're like, okay, and depending on how you score on that, then they, give you more difficult problems.
Right.
So, so I was tested at a grade 12 level, but, I would... Do you want to be tested at a grade 12 level, or do you want to be able to socialize at a grade 12 level, right? Because there's a difference. There's a lack of stuff that goes on.
Well, the weed's definitely helping you socialize. I'll give you that right now. You're doing a great job. But,
I'm actually not high right now.
You're not? I'm just busting your balls, man. I wanted, because when we talked about doing the podcast, I was like, I want to see how you are sober, see how you are stoned. I know that lots of people smoke weed this day and age. I don't judge at all. I just like to bust balls from time to time. But anyway, it's so funny because I've got a guy that's just, we're talking about drug use, a guy that's trained to be a cop. He's going to keep his eye on you.
It's going to be decriminalized.
Yes. Oh, here we go.
10 to 15 years.
You know what the problem with, in my personal opinion, with weed is now is that, here we go. We'll get into a debate right now. You can weigh in on this too because you have the knowledge. But weed isn't the same as it was, 20 years ago. It's been genetically altered to be way more dangerous. And I'm not saying this because I know lots of people like to smoke weed and get high. That's fine. But the levels of the THC are they used to be maybe 5-10%. Now they're upwards of 90%.
Yeah, I mean, it was more CBD based back in the 70s.
Sure.
When it was hippie time.
But it's more likely to be able to contribute to mental illness now than it was back in the day.
And I think it would contribute probably. Obviously it affects you when you're younger differently.
Well, your
There's a risk of
still...
schizophrenia.
Sure.
But I think just the higher potency now probably just has the potential to contribite to mood disorders.
Yeah, sure. I agree.
Probably. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be people who are affected by that. And people who aren't.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. I know. I mean, you could. It could be the thing that potentially triggers something that's underlying, though. That's the only issue. But did you learn anything about that? And when you're going through Fanshawe, you learned obviously about. You said you're focusing way more on mental health, which is a great thing. What are you focusing on from a drug related perspective? Do you have the debate about legalizing marijuana and all that
all the time? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what more and more common now, right?
So what is the standpoint? Is there any debate against why it should be legalized? And I'm honestly, I'm impartial, really, either way.
Yeah.
So I'm not someone that's arguing for or against. I'm not a big weed smoker. I never really have been. I went through a pothead phase in high school, but you know, I got so fucking like that. Someone with anxiety disorder smoking a shitload of pot, you're just fucking like, what am I doing, right? So
is marijuana though, like, would you consider it a gateway to bigger drugs?
No, I wouldn't. I think that the gateway drug is alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol.
That's what it's. Yeah, alcohol for me has been the gateway drug to blow to well, actually, ecstasy. I guess I was curious about anyway, but that when I was younger, it kind of went with DJing, right? You go to after parties and.
Sure.
As you see now, the big EDM epidemic, it's fucking huge. People are doing tons of drugs. But it was definitely, as I kind of aged, everything became, if I was hammered and I was drunk, that was the gateway to doing other shit in the after hours parties for me. If I was going to smoke a joint, quite frankly, the only time I'll really smoke a joint is I feel like sex is great when you're on weed, and obviously I've been sober for 15 months, so the one thing that I might try down the road with my girlfriend, future girlfriend, if she's up for it, is just kind of, you know, experiencing that together. But I don't know. I still don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
that's a big debate. I don't know. I don't know where I stand. I think I'm pretty impartial.
Are you?
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about, you know, when they're sober, they don't even count weed as like a drug. It's like, yeah, I'm still sober, but then you see them smoking a joint. It's like, okay, well, I don't know if that's kind of hypocritical or what really. I don't know. It's not really. I don't know. I mean, where do you draw that line, right? So anyway, we kind of got off on a tangent there, but I'm okay with it. So for Final Rose Entertainment, is there anything that you want people to know? I mean, you've obviously we're looking at doing weddings and events in the future, and. Did we cover everything? I mean, we didn't really cover a charity package. I think that's important to talk about. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, a big part of what we wanted to do as a company was give back to our community.
100%.
And by doing so, like, you know, it impacts so many people, and no one else is doing that, right? That was kind of our thing. So, we offer for charities at a discounted rate our services.
Yeah, very discounted.
Very discounted.
Yeah. So, and you will see sort of Final Rose Entertainment more and more intertwined with. I mean, we've partnered up with Canadian Mental Health Association, so you'll see us at their events, and we hope to be a part. So, if anybody's listening that has a cause that they want to provide entertainment and music for, we're here to help, and we want you to know that. But that's obviously sort of the underlying reason I wanted to have you on. Obviously, we're business partners, but I really wanted your story to be shared as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So what do you do now? This must be kind of, you have so many big events happening. School, going back to school at an older age, first year of marriage, baby on the way. Are you like, and in fear was what held you back from going to school? Do you have any fear about the future?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, like the thing of, you know, being a good dad and stuff like that.
Yeah, I still right? Look at behind me. I mean, I try. It's hard. So
But I mean, that comes with life experience, right?
It does.
And you know, my dad passed away when I was 12. So
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I didn't have much of a father figure.
That was the same time that you got involved in Parkinson's.
Yeah, and you know, but that's life experience, man. Like that's something that I'm going to take, and I'm going to make sure I'm there for every event for my daughter, and it's just life, man.
What did your dad pass away from?
Cancer.
Cancer.
Yeah. Which is crazy because he was like a avid golfer and, you know, never smoked, never drank.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Well, we've got a really powerful cancer story coming on for our Woman Crush Wednesday as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll have to tune in for that. What kind of cancer was he?
It started in his lungs.
And he wasn't a smoker?
No.
Really?
And it just kind of moved around from there. I think at one point they gave him like 6 months to live.
Yeah.
And he fought, and it was like 2 years later before he had passed.
So what was it that they kind of made you lean towards Parkinson's over the cancer? Was it just something because cancers are pretty big? Yeah. I mean, people do cancer quite frequently.
Yeah, I was honestly, I was like turned down. I brought it to the Cancer Society's attention.
So you were going to start with cancer?
Yeah, that was because of Dad, right?
Yeah, well, that's my curiosity here is.
Yeah, and so I was like, but you know what? Like, there's other people that need help. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's a missing gap, and I had that relationship with Glenn, who had Parkinson's,
right,
and noticed a gap there.
Sure.
And that's kind of why I tackled that.
So you wanted. I'm feeling like this whole thing was kind of fueled because you lost your dad and you wanted to do something, and that was the other person that was kind of affecting had an effect on your life.
Yeah.
Why did they turn you down?
I don't know. There's so much going on.
Really?
At that time, there's Terry Fox Run, and God, there's everything, right? It's so.
That seems really. That's kind of upsetting in a way. I mean,
bit.
a kid a 12-year-old that just loses his dad wants to do something, and you turn.
I wonder if I actually still have the email. Like, it'd be interesting to look back on that.
Yeah.
To see what I had said, because it was so long ago, right? But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, either way, you're making a difference. The people with Parkinson's, I'm sure they appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's unfortunate because the people of the Cancer Society that turned you down lost a really good individual who could have done some really great things. But everything happens for a reason, and you're still doing that. So good for you. So, how are you coping with all of this mentally? Like, tell me because you and I have had some talks. You've been stressed out at times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, we all come to a point where we're like, holy.
Yeah.
And I blame myself because I take on
too much.
You know
so do I in the same way.
And like going back to school, like I'm the president of student council for Fanshawe.
Right.
In Woodstock. And that was another thing that I took on. I'm like, oh my God. But I wanted to because I never got to do that before, right?
Sure.
And that was like I was saying, like looking back, you want to try to do as much as you can.
Yeah.
I never did that stuff before. So I was like, why wouldn't I do this?
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, it's tough sometimes, but if you prioritize certain things and you kind of make a schedule for yourself,
yeah,
I think that's the most important thing. And I catch myself sometimes with the stuff that comes out. Sometimes with you, man. Like I forgot to push on in.
Yeah, I felt that.
I'll get that text. I'll get that text and be like, shit.
Yeah. Well, I like to remind you that you do have a partner that awaits you from time to time in your busy life. But that's okay, man. I'm extremely busy too. I just want to make sure that our business stays afloat because it's a really worthwhile thing to do, and it's all about giving back and having fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of an outlet for both of us. So the more events that we can do as you get older, and this is a thing that happens regularly, right? I mean, friends part ways because family takes priority, work takes priority, where I feel like if you have some kind of connection in the business world where you can kind of get together and be like, you know what, it's good to hang out, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
More men need that, and women too, right? But I just feel like I look at sort of my life, and I look at my dad's life, and I look at sort of the relationships we have with other individuals, and it just becomes, and that's part of the reason I do this podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that I don't drink anymore, it's really hard for me to connect with people that are still going to the bars, that I still care about, right? But so this is a way where it's like, hey, why don't you come and share your story? Be on the show, let's reconnect, because this conversation is just a natural conversation, right? I mean, no holds barred.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I didn't get to talk about was the sex positions that you and Robin love, but you're not letting me go there, and my pervy mind wants to so bad. But we won't. So anyways, I think that's probably about time tonight. What are we at here? Is that 12:30?
12:30.
Perfect. So ladies and gentlemen, tune in. Thanks for listening today. You're listening to the Sex and Suicide Podcast. This was our guest today, Matt Granger, London, Ontario local hero. and as always, we've got our co-host Vinni Chase here. And really special guest coming up on Wednesday for our Woman Crush Wednesday, Michelle Goldrick, and that'll be a great podcast for sure. She's got a really powerful story that's empowering to women and anyone that's really kind of, especially even you, Matt. You've lost someone to cancer, right?
Yeah.
So tune in Wednesday. And anything else we should add? I think that's it for tonight, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming, and we really appreciate all your input on Mental Health and Motivational Monday, provided by Sex and Suicide Podcast. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. Cheers.